Good day, family, from wherever you are watching. My name is Thembile, and I've been asked by Kamo to share some few words with you. And I would like us to maybe focus ourselves on the book of Matthew chapter 5, particularly verse 13, where Jesus says, "You are the salt of the earth. But if the salt loses its saltiness, how can it be made salty again? It is no longer good for anything except to be thrown out and trampled by men." Now, family, this particular chapter is one of the first sermons, particularly the first sermon Jesus preaches after he chose his team and after he made his mission known. And I quite wondered why, of all the things he would say, first of all would be, "You are the salt of the earth." The verses leading up to this one, they speak extensively about blessings, whereby he says, "Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted." And then later on, after speaking about all of this, he sees the need to say to his audience, "You are the salt of the earth." Now, I wouldn't stick to hermeneutics and homiletics in terms of the rules of preaching and the rules of interpretation. I'll just get into it because there are a few things I want us to note on this particular scripture. When Jesus teaches about salt, you must remember that for salt to be effective, it must be in contact with food. Now, when Jesus was teaching the church or his early disciples that you are the salt of the earth, he meant that for them to be effective as the church, they need to be in contact with the world. And this is very relevant in the times that we're living in, whereby we find a church being, or their church being, a group of people who just come to socialize together and pray together, but they are ineffective in the communities that they lead. And another thing that Jesus teaches us when he says, "You are the salt of the earth," as the taste of the salt itself is not pleasant, it then means that the world does not necessarily enjoy our presence, meaning that we as the church, being called the salt of the earth, it means that we are an unpleasant taste to the world. So do not worry as a Christian if maybe you are found to be boring, if you are found to not being vibing with the world that we live in today. That is the effect of the salt. On its own is ineffective. Your effectiveness is only when you come in contact with those that are lost. Now, three things that I want us to touch on, then I close this. I'm what you would call a guy with a sweet tooth. I enjoy cake a lot. To a point whereby I even Googled or searched how cake is baked. You know, there are different forms of sweet things that you would Google and find out how they are made, the recipes thereof. And what was amazing to me was that in something as sweet as cake, salt was added. Because in the recipe of baking a cake, they would say, add a pinch of salt. And I researched in terms of what is the effectiveness of salt in something so sweet. And I found out, number one, note this, salt balances the ingredients in the cake. Meaning that without salt, in something as sweet as a cake, everything that is in it wouldn't be balanced. So the taste that you have one taste from a number of ingredients that have been added into the cake. The taste that you get is because of the pinch of salt that has been added in. So this means that as Christians, as followers of Jesus Christ, wherever we are, we need to balance the ingredients. So it is a disgrace for a Christian to be in a space and you have people in cliques, you have people in cabals and factions, meaning that when we come as the center of unity. Secondly, one of the things that the salt does is to preserve things from rotting, meaning that even wounds, when you have a wound, you would be advised to wash it with salty water, meaning that wherever we are, we shouldn't be the type of people that create wounds. When we find wounds, we must be the center of healing. We must be the catalyst of healing. And thirdly, salt gives taste to things. Wherever we may be, let people enjoy that taste in everything that we encounter. May God bless you, and I hope to see you soon. Thank you.